Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. There's a lot of news going on, and today we're going to start in the city of Vovchansk, because the Russians are getting their asses kicked. Russian troops reportedly regroup in the Kharkiv sector. So it depends on which map maker you check, but the Russians are being pushed out of the city. This is incredible to me because going back 2 months ago, I just assumed the Ukrainians would fall back to the south side of this river, try and hold the south side of the city. But no, they stuck it out on the north bank of this river. They weathered the storm, and they're now counterattacking. They're pushing the Russians back. And there's actually been a big shift in the war the last 2 months that I've not talked about. And if we go back in time more than 2 months ago, the Ukrainians were very focused on the Kherson region. Even with the obstacle of the river, they were still getting across in significant numbers, trying to capture something. Capture a village, capture this supply road. But with Russia's reinvasion of the Kharkiv Oblast, this is no longer the weakest point for the Russian forces. Kharkiv is now the weakest point for the Russian forces. So if the Ukrainians want a morale boost or a propaganda win, all they have to do is smash the Russian forces in Kharkiv, push them back 5 or 6 kilometers back into their own country, and Russia has no explanation for this disastrous reinvasion of Kharkiv, losing 10,000 soldiers and then getting their asses kicked. And this isn't my opinion, this is what we're getting from Russian soldiers filming videos on the ground in Vovchansk. So this video is from a Russian soldier with the 138th Brigade. This is another translation from Dmitry. And here's what this Russian soldier has to say. My dear loved ones, those asking about their fighters, their husbands, fathers, and sons, we made it out. In a group of 30 people, the 138th Brigade Storm Unit. Not everyone made it out. I got out 30 people out of 46. Many brothers are dead or wounded. I am wounded myself. Sorry. Sorry to everyone I didn't save. Not everyone made it out. I am getting more people out. This is a Russian soldier crying on camera because he's seen the horrors of war. At least he has the consideration to film this video for his own loved ones, because he knows he's probably not going to survive much longer. In this video, he admitted he's wounded, and Russia is sending their wounded soldiers into combat. If you've been following my channel the last couple weeks, you've seen these videos of Russian soldiers with open wounds, Russian soldiers who can't walk, filming videos saying their leadership is sending them into combat. Now, Russia's high command has no expectations of these wounded soldiers succeeding or surviving. Their only purpose is to go out into no man's land and expose the positions of Ukrainian machine gun nests. They're just being sent out to die, so that artillery and drone strikes can be called in on these Ukrainian positions, and then a wave of normal, healthy soldiers can follow up with an attack. This is what the Russians do to their own soldiers. So the next clip I want to play is from Maxim Kalishnikov. He's a Russian writer and political activist. And here's him acting as a military correspondent, and he accidentally gave his true opinion on how this war is going. I feel in my soul the special military operation might end somewhere in the vicinity of the North Caucasus. By this comment, he's either implying that Ukraine's going to end up invading Russia, or the North Caucasus will rebel, and Russia will be in civil war because of Putin's special military operation. How many ammo warehouses will the enemy destroy? Which Russian cities will the enemy strike? It's impossible to foretell. We don't have enough troops. Read Theologist in Ambush. We even throw the wounded, who haven't even been completely healed, to the front. It's a scary problem. It's clear that right now there is a struggle to freeze the conflict. It's clear that Moscow sees that it can't win. Now everyone is talking about a truce, yes? This is the argument I've been making on my channel for the last 2.5 years. If Russia was winning, if Russia was capable of winning, they would have already done it in the last 2.5 years. Russia is running out of troops, willing to sign contracts and die for nothing. Russia's old Soviet stockpiles are being depleted at alarming rates faster than they can rebuild. So Moscow is desperate for a ceasefire, a truce, so they can spend 2 or 3 years rearming, and then they can go back for more. In the meantime, the only thing the Kremlin can do is threaten, threaten, threaten. Kremlin threatens to target Europe if US deploys missiles. So we don't have a translation, but there is a clip on Russian state TV. For fun, let's play about 30 seconds of this.
Несложно предположить географию ответа в случае, если короткий пресс-релиз Белого дома станет реальностью. Под угрозой без малого все европейские столицы, если наши ракеты встанут в Калининграде, Берлин, Варшава, все Прибалты, Париж, Бухарест, Прага. Конечно, американские базы в Германии, Гармии-Шпартенкирхен, казармы Патча, Шпангдален.
Why do the Russians bother making these stupid graphics? We all know you can nuke us, Russia. You say this every week. We're gonna nuke you, we're gonna nuke you, we're gonna nuke you. If you send HIMARS, we'll nuke you. If you send Patriots, we'll nuke you. If you send Leopards, we'll nuke you. If you send F-16s, we'll nuke you. And if, I guess, US missiles are deployed to Germany, we're gonna nuke you. Kaliningrad has to go. When Russia collapses and loses this war, Kaliningrad has to get its independence. It has to become its own state. Because Russia can't keep this dagger to the back of Europe any longer. This is how they openly treat this territory, as a strategic choke point, an unsinkable aircraft carrier to permanently threaten European capitals. This is the language they use. So we're going to fight back. Russia will be defeated. Drone strike damages another Russian radar station in occupied Crimea. Reports of explosions close to a Russian S-400 anti-missile site. They gotta go. Ukraine has to keep destroying all these radar installations before F-16s hit the skies. Last Russian patrol ship left occupied Crimea. The last patrol ship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet is just now leaving our Crimea. I've shared this meme before, it's one of my favorites. The Black Sea Fleet doesn't operate in the Black Sea anymore, they can't. Ukraine doesn't have a navy, but they've got pretty cost-effective naval drones, and they've won. Russia's Black Sea Fleet has been defeated. They've retreated all their ships back to Novorossiysk or inside the Sea of Azov. They're hiding behind the bridge. They're mining their own ports at the moment to stop these Ukrainian naval drones, while Ukraine is removing their mines from their coastal waters because there's no threat coming from the sea anymore. Train derails near iron ore plant in Russia's Belgorod. Was it incompetence or was it sabotage? I don't know. There was another freight train derailment in Varennes. These train derailments are happening almost daily now in Russia, as there are saboteurs and partisans inside of Russia who know taking out these rail lines, even temporarily, is crippling the Russian economy. Russia will not broadcast the Paris Olympics. Russian and Belarusian athletes are only allowed to compete in the Paris Olympics under neutral white flags. The International Olympic Committee website shows that only 16 Russians and 17 Belarusians have accepted invitations to compete under a neutral banner. This was controversial, whether or not Russian athletes would be allowed to participate at all. But they made this so difficult for the Russians that many Russian athletes are just boycotting the Olympics. They're choosing not to go because they can't be pro-Putin and be a Russian athlete. And to be a Russian athlete, you really have to be pro-Putin to survive in a propaganda role, which all of Russia's athletes are. Authorities declare a state of emergency in Russia's Novorossiysk as wildfires rage. Climate change is real, and there's a massive heat wave hitting Russia and Ukraine right now. Higher temperatures, drier landscapes are leading to more forest fires inside of Russia, but I think Russia has bigger problems they're concerned with. Russian region deploys cats to ward off rats on the front lines in Ukraine. I just wanted to mention this story because I had a cool picture of a cat, but trench life is not fun for both Ukrainians and Russians sleeping in trenches. You gotta do something about the mice and the rats. So there's always been cats on the front lines in these trenches to deal with the mice. All right, we're going to talk about US politics now, and going back 3 days ago, when Trump was almost assassinated, this did physically affect me. It affected my physical health and my mental health. But it's been 3 days, and the next day Trump went golfing, so I guess Trump is perfectly fine. I think for Americans, they're moving forward, and they're trying to understand how this will impact or change our national election. And at the moment, this is the website The Hill, Donald Trump is projected to win. Donald Trump has a 56% chance of winning based on national polls and the Electoral College. So it's very important, if Donald Trump is going to be potentially the next president, that he chooses as his running mate somebody that will temper him or balance him out or give reassurance to international partners that Trump is not a threat to democracy across the globe. And that did not happen. Trump chooses Ukraine opponent as his running mate. They are celebrating in Moscow tonight. This is according to Illinois Republican Adam Kinzinger. JD Vance opposes military aid to Ukraine and NATO membership, and now he's Trump's vice presidential pick. So Trump is 78 years old and obese. If he's elected, he'll be the oldest man ever elected president. He'll be older than when Biden was elected 4 years ago. So the probability, just based on age, JD Vance could become the next president of the United States. And I've been trying to research him to understand better. If we go back to April, when Congress was debating military aid for Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel, JD Vance gave a 34-minute speech on the floor of the Senate. I'll link this down below if you want to listen to it for yourself. I did condense it, and I created a 6-minute clip of just him talking about Ukraine. If you want to watch this, once again, I'll link it down below. But let me just share with you a couple seconds of this clip.
Now, opponents of further aid in Ukraine, and I count myself among them.
Now, opponents of further aid to Ukraine, and I count myself among them,
say that this is a Chamberlain versus Churchill kind of moment. And you just heard my distinguished colleague from Delaware make this observation. With no disrespect to my friend from Delaware, we need to come up with some different analogies in this chamber. We need to be able to understand history as not just World War II replaying itself over and over and over again.
So this is JD Vance telling the Poles, telling the Estonians, the Lithuanians, the Latvians, the Ukrainians, stop talking about World War II. Get over it. Come up with some better historical analogies. So in this 6-minute clip that I put together, JD Vance states his beliefs on Ukraine and Russia. And JD Vance repeats Kremlin propaganda, saying that by the United States supporting Ukraine, this will lead to World War III. Russia's victory against Ukraine is inevitable. America's military is too weak to support Ukraine and other countries around the world, like Taiwan and Israel. Ukraine is corrupt and they're stealing American taxpayer dollars. Russia only wants peace and NATO only wants war. He went on a weird tangent about how Ukraine is persecuting Christians and this could lead to a massive refugee crisis of Christians fleeing persecution from the Ukrainian Nazi government. Ukraine is forcing mentally disabled people to fight. Ukrainians are dying for nothing, and Russia isn't that bad. I know there are people, Americans, watching my videos planning on voting for Trump in November. They're not a single-issue voter. I am. And they still want to support Ukraine. And Trump deliberately remains ambiguous so that you can project onto him whatever you want to think he'll do in the future. This has been his entire career. But you can't fake this with JD Vance. JD Vance was the Kremlin's top pick. This is who Putin wanted Trump to pick to be his VP. JD Vance has been featured on Kremlin State TV before. Everyone on Kremlin State TV loves JD Vance. And JD Vance is actually not making Trump supporters happy. For the true MAGA faithful who have been loyal to Trump for 10 years now, they're actually furious about Trump picking JD Vance because JD Vance used to hate Trump. JD Vance used to identify as a never-Trumper back in 2016 and 2017. So here's some of the things that JD Vance used to say about Trump 8 years ago.
This is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are the...
So according to JD Vance, who Trump picked to be his VP, JD Vance back in 2017-18 was saying, you're an idiot if you voted for Donald Trump. He is cultural heroin. He could become America's Hitler. There's a thread put together by the Lincoln Project of all the times that JD Vance has criticized and attacked Trump. And this isn't, I'm attacking Trump's policies, I disagree with this or disagree with this. He honestly believed back in 2016 and 2017 that Donald Trump was a threat to our democracy. His words, not mine, his words, saying that Donald Trump could be as bad as Hitler. So, of course, all the tech bros, Elon Musk is rallying behind JD Vance and Trump. Elon Musk has been pushing Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy and RFK Jr. Elon Musk wanted anyone other than Trump, but Trump got the nomination. Trump's now leading in the polls, and Elon Musk wanted JD Vance to be picked. The other finalists, I think, were like the North Dakota governor or Marco Rubio. But there's this group of insulated tech billionaires that for some reason really wanted JD Vance. Elon Musk, as soon as he heard Donald Trump was going to pick him, he came out and he endorsed Donald Trump. And he also announced, this is Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, that he's going to be spending $45 million a month to help elect Trump, donating money from his personal fortune to Trump's super PAC, which hires people and runs ads. So if you're American, I want you to ask why. Why would all of a sudden Elon Musk become so positive about Trump just because he picked JD Vance? JD Vance, who's the most anti-Ukraine and pro-Russian senator in the United States Senate. And there's another person, maybe you know him, maybe you don't. His name is Peter Thiel, the billionaire who fueled JD Vance's rapid rise to the Trump vice presidential spot. JD Vance has only been in politics 2 years, being elected to the Senate in 2022. He's 39 years old. He's younger than me. So where did he come from? Who wanted him to be a senator and now to be Trump's VP? And Vance's most prominent benefactor over the years has been Peter Thiel, the iconoclastic tech pioneer and investor. Thiel hired Vance at his global investment firm in 2017 and then nurtured Vance's political rise, donating $15 million to his 2022 Ohio Senate campaign and helping him win a closely fought GOP primary before going on to capture the general election. So I've actually read JD Vance's book that he published back in 2015 or 16, Hillbilly Eulogy. And the guy that JD Vance is today is a completely different person than who wrote this book. I have no clue who wrote this book. But as soon as... So if you don't know JD Vance's background, he grew up in extreme poverty, going back and forth between his grandparents and his drug-addicted mother in Kentucky and Ohio. He then went to Yale. He went to the best university in America, got his degree, and apparently Peter Thiel saw something in him, gave him a job, and then made him a U.S. Senator. Peter Thiel bought a U.S. Senate seat, and all he needed was a willing patsy to do whatever he wanted and said. So the connection here between Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Russia is Peter Thiel and Elon Musk have known each other for over 20 years. They co-founded PayPal together. They made their billions together. This isn't a conspiracy. This is all just out in the open. So Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are using their billions to buy the White House. They don't like Donald Trump, but Donald Trump has his cult following. So they made Donald Trump pick JD Vance. And they're going to make sure that Donald Trump becomes president so they get everything they want. The new title for JD Vance is the billionaire's butler, a guy who came from extreme poverty and had a best-selling book trying to sell himself as a working class or a middle class hero, when as soon as he met a real billionaire, he said, "I will sell my soul to just live in this man's shadow." Yeah, as an American, I'm just speechless. Like, this is so flagrant and blatant and anti-American. And of course, they're working with the Russians, they're working with the Chinese. They're globalists. They don't care about America. They don't care about taxpayers and standard of living declining. Billionaires don't care about you. They care about what they care about. And there's never been a time in American history when billionaires have had such a stranglehold on our politics, on our government. I found this campaign poster online, Trump Vance 2024, and it's got Russia's colors and the old Soviet star. It's pretty accurate. Europe reacts to JD Vance as Trump's VP pick. This is a disaster for Ukraine. Poland reached out to the Trump team to discuss the Ukraine war, and I support this. If you're a European leader and you want to start talking to Trump now and try and persuade him of anything, can't hurt. Zelensky is ready to cooperate with Republicans if they win U.S. elections. God bless President Zelensky. He's going to do his best, but Donald Trump works for Russia. That's why he picked JD Vance. Let's get to the good news for Ukraine. 39 tanks, HIMARS, and ammunition. Germany covertly hands over huge shipments of weapons. I don't think this was very covert. I think everyone knew about it. Spain says 10 more Leopard 2 tanks are en route to Ukraine. Thank you so much, the people of Spain. Final clip I have for you is from Richard Woodruff. He's with Frontline Kit. I've shown some of his videos before, and going back 3 or 4 months ago, I mentioned a fundraiser he was doing for disabled Ukrainian vets to get out of the hospital and go on a nice retreat up into the Carpathian Mountains. I just mentioned his fundraiser, and you guys ended up donating a lot of money. This paid for several trips. I think they've already done 3 or 4. And this was the latest group of 8 Ukrainian defenders who got to go on a nice holiday from the hospital. And this is the message Richard wants to share with the channel.
Good afternoon, Twitter. Дуже великий дякую, JakeBro, for this incredible holiday up in the mountains. We have a load of quad bikes, which are now conveniently hidden behind the guys, and having a fantastic break and rehabilitation in the Carpathian Mountains. So, thank you so much, and Slava Ukraini!
Heroям slava!
Just finished up filming our little thank you video for JakeBro. You can see all the beautiful quad bikes here. Ugh! And, more importantly, the beautiful, wonderful soldiers who are having a дуже ruddy, bloody, fantastic time. This, JakeBro, is because of you. We have 8 soldiers up in the mountains. We're taking them from Troskovets Hospital, where they just had either amputations or some shrapnel in them. They were recovering, and we took them for a break in the mountains. And yeah, because of your incredible, amazing YouTube community, we were able to do it. We've taken them quad biking, we've taken them to a spa, swimming pool, super duper luxury accommodation, which I'll post the images and videos of with this video. But just thank you. These guys deserve it so much, and the fact that they are literally on top of the world now, because of you and your incredible YouTube community. I have no words. I will never have enough words, enough thanks. So yeah. Дякую, JakeBro, you absolute legend amongst men. I'm gonna get back to the guys now. We'll have a lovely dinner. And yeah, give you another update soon. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you to everyone who donated the last time, and I'll put Richard Woodruff's contact information down below in the event you want to donate to him. He does fantastic work, and he's a really good guy. That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Best way to support the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.